look like his. All right, fellas.
John, you talk about responding to adversity a lot. Beginning of the game, they hit you guys pretty hard, and you responded. Second half, some calls didn't go your way. A lot of different things. They hit the 3 there with 15 seconds left. What can you say about the way your guys responded to all those different situations?
No, I think it's exactly that, Marcus. I thought the biggest juncture in the game was when we got down 15-6. We got off to a slow start. I thought we looked a little tentative, ironically, similar to how we had looked a little bit at the end of the game against Oregon to start the game. We'll have to take a look at that. And then they made some plays and made some shots and came out like gangbusters and played really well. You got to give them a lot of credit. And then I thought that key juncture was fighting a way to scratch and claw our way back into the game and finish the half strong. I thought that was, a huge confidence boost for us. I thought that we played with great toughness all night. Our execution was okay. It's 2 years in a row. I mean, I think after the game's over, I say to myself, boy, they're 18 to 22-year-olds, and the emotion of that environment in there, can get you to maybe do some things or make a play that's not there. Or, I think that's the one thing I've come to understand, having been in it now for 2 years. But a lot of times, I told them the other day, a lot of times it comes down to toughness and players making plays. I thought our guys had, a lot of toughness, and I thought we had a lot of guys step up and make some plays.
John, question regarding Kendrick Nunn. Kendrick, I think he got 20 minutes. I think the one stat in there that might get lost is the 3 steals, and he played a lot of defense, I believe, on Clarkson. He must be doing something to earn your trust. Could you just speak to him, please?
Yeah, he keeps getting better, Tup. I mean, he's really improving. He understands our defense. You hit the nail on the head. I thought he defended really well tonight. He was huge for us. Defensively, he guarded the ball well. He's in the right position. He understood what we wanted. I thought he executed the game plan well defensively. Got some steals, got his hands on some balls, made a big shot. So he's continuing to get better and growing up, and we're excited, about the direction he's headed.
Coach, can you talk about Missouri being in the bonus with about 12 minutes to go in the game, and your guys doing a really good job of not fouling down the stretch, not sending them to the line like they had for the first 8 minutes of the half?
Yeah, I thought that was important. They're a team that is among the nation's leaders in free throw rates. And free throw rate. I mean, they had made going into the game more free throws than their opponents had attempted. So we thought that was a big deal, especially with the 3 perimeters. Those guys were shooting, I think, right around 18 free throw attempts a game collectively, and that was important. We did get in some foul trouble early in the second half, and then just kind of had to weather it a little bit, continue to emphasize playing hard without fouling. We mixed in some zone a little bit, just trying to survive. I didn't want it to be, a situation where, if we got beat, it was because we kept letting them get to the free throw line. So, fortunately for us, we were able to do that a little bit better at the end of the second half, as you talked about there.
How do you rate this victory with those you've had since you've been at Illinois?
Well, I mean, I certainly because of, what it means to Illini Nation, to our alums, our fans. It's a great game. I said that before the game for both universities, for college basketball. I mean, it's a phenomenal environment. It's an emotional game. It's a great game, and we've been in it now 2 years, together. We're split. I mean, it's a war out there. But I don't know. I'd have to sit and think about that one when I get home and get a chance to, enjoy Christmas with my family. I'll probably think about it maybe then about in terms of where it rates. Right now, my mindset is just, hey, how do we continue to get better? I'll watch the film either tonight or late tomorrow morning, and we'll keep trucking right along. But, we feel, like I said, fortunate to beat a really good Missouri team.
John, the last few games you haven't finished as strong as you have wanted to. But talk a little bit about what this means in terms of, finishing strong tonight and coming out on top, and what this may mean going in towards the last non-conference game and going into the Big Ten.
Yeah, well, I think it's big for our team because we've been talking about it a lot. And at some point, talk is cheap. You got to step up, especially on the defensive end. Tracy hit the nail on the head. We felt like that was the biggest deal for us moving forward in terms of improvement. There's too many points scored per possession late in a couple of these games. And today our whole deal was, hey, get stops and rebound, let the rest of it take care of itself. We'll make a few plays on the offensive end, and fortunately for us today, that's what happened.
Yeah, John, over here.
Yeah.
Tracy made so many big plays down the stretch, both ends of the court. Does any one particularly stand out in your mind? And then more in a general sense, can you talk a little bit about his evolution as the leader of this team?
I don't know if it's necessarily a particular play that stands out. I think what stands out to me was his disposition in huddles. And he was so locked in and very vocal, wanted to talk in a couple of the huddles. He'll tap me and, and wants to say something, and he did that a lot tonight. He was really locked in. There's no question he's made a lot of strides when it comes to vocal leadership. He's always led by example. I mean, he's a tough dude. He's been a tough dude, We'll give his parents credit for that. But in terms of being more vocal and leading and leaders lead and all the stuff we've been hitting him with, I think he's really grabbed onto it, gravitated to it, and has become much better in that area. I'd like to think our staff has helped him some, but I also think the SEAL training helped him some in the fall and the summer. I thought that John McGuire, who's the SEAL team instructor, I think he had an impact on Tracy as well, and I think Tracy would tell you that.
John, Shannon asked Tracy about his emotions after the game. Your eyes were welling up after the game as well. Can you talk about what was going through your mind in the meeting?
Well, exactly what he said, to be honest with you. I've said before, I feel indebted to those guys last year, those 5 seniors. I felt like they wanted to win the game just as badly as our guys did tonight. Fortunately, this year it went our way. Last year it didn't. That's what happens when you have 2 high-level teams going at it, tooth and nail. I thought that happened both years. But my first thought went to those guys, and then what they've meant to me, my family, the University of Illinois, our program as we worked last year to try to lay down a foundation. Those guys certainly deserve a lot of credit.
John, you broke out the orange coat again. Can you talk us through the process of choosing when to wear that
Yeah.
and what that means to you?
Well, I really wasn't, leaning that way. And then my wife said something. She thought I should wear it. And, then I kind of got lukewarm on it. And then my wife had a Christmas party the other night, had several people over, and, they were trying to egg me on to wear it. And to be honest with you, then I wasn't sure, even as of today, I had another suit and the coat. And I wasn't sure. And then someone told me Tim Salem, who's on our football staff, had tweeted out that I was going to wear the orange coat. He was the only male in attendance the other night at the party. So I guess Tim deserves the credit ultimately for the final. Last thing I wanted to do was disappoint Tim. So, no, but it was just kind of a call at the last second. Every time I wear the coat, I think of Coach Henson. I've said that before. He's not only out of respect for what he's done at the University of Illinois and what he's meant to the Champaign-Urbana community, but, I think he's an unbelievable coach and an even better person. The way he's treated me since I've had the job, he doesn't have to do that. He always goes out of his way in tough times and good times. And I really appreciate the person that he is as much or more than I do. And believe me, I do appreciate him as a coach. So every time I put that on, I think of Coach Henson.
I want to ask you about Iki and taking charges. He's had at least 2 in each of the past couple games. Is he better at that, or has anybody you've coached ever been better at that?
I have one kid. It's a great question, Steve. I have one kid I coached at Ohio named Tommy Freeman from Muncie, Indiana, that was terrific at anticipating and taking charges. But I think John's right up there, right up there with Tommy. Probably those 2 guys in certainly my years as a head coach. I have a knack for doing that. John's in great position a lot, Steve, so that helps. And he's really smart, and he sees things a lot of times before they happen. His IQ and what he brings to the game from an intelligence perspective doesn't show up on a stat sheet. I think he's invaluable. McLaurin was a little bit that way last year, just really smart. That's a great asset to have on your basketball team.
Coach, could you talk a little bit about that, the last play? It looked like it was set up for Ray to make the play, but then he kind of lost the ball and then...
Yeah, Ray, unfortunately, we dug it out because you're exactly right. It was set up for Ray on an isolation. Ray drove it. The ball got deflected, and we came up with it. That's the hardest part of the deal. And then once he pitched it to Tracy, Tracy made a play, drove it really hard, and got fouled.
Hey, John, what is the game plan now for the guys? Are they going to go home for Christmas, or what's the plan between now and Saturday?
Yeah, they're going home for the holidays, see their family and friends, and then they'll report back Christmas night, and then we'll have a little workout that night to get their win back. We'll practice the 26th and 27th, and then head to Chicago on the 27th to play UIC on the 28th at the United Center.
Coach, that was the 1700 back here. That was the 1700th program win for you guys. Can you comment on that at all, the historic significance of that for the program?
Well, obviously my whole life I've had a great deal of respect for Illinois basketball. I've watched Big Ten basketball since I was a kid. I came to a game at the State Farm Center when I was 12. I mean, I remember the Flying Illini. I coached against the 05 team. When I had the opportunity to interview for the job with Mike Thomas, you start looking at the tradition of Illinois basketball and how rich that tradition is. And, I'm not surprised, where we rank nationally in terms of overall wins and, the program's success. A lot of great coaches, a lot of great players. I feel truly blessed to be a small part of it.
John, Al Martindale was visiting with Ted Valentine a lot before the game, gave him some eye drops. They obviously are old friends. And when Missouri had 0 fouls and you had 5 in the second half, Al yelled to Ted, "Ted, it's 5-0. Pretty soon it was 8-6 in your favor. So can we assume that Al is still on staff to some degree?
No, he's not. I don't know anything about that. I'm just coaching the game, Rob.